Modern SUVs are comfortable, quiet, and packed with technology. But that comfort comes at a heavy price. As a mechanic for over 23 years, I can tell you this. Most modern SUVs are designed to be expensive to maintain by their very nature. They are built with tight engine bays that turn a simple sensor swap into a 6-hour labor bill. They are filled with complex electronics that require proprietary software just to talk to, and they use integrated parts that fail in expensive groups instead of individually. You aren't just buying a vehicle, you're buying a long-term liability. But trucks used to be different. They were designed with a work-first philosophy. Simple layouts, durable materials, and most importantly, repairs you can actually afford to do in your own driveway. Today, we're looking at 5 trucks that cost almost nothing to maintain. I'm not saying they never need work. No machine is magic. But when they do, the fixes are simple, the parts are cheap, and the results are predictable. And once you understand that fundamental difference, modern SUVs stop making sense very quickly. Number 5 is the 1987 to 1996 Ford F-150 with the 4.9-liter inline-6, also known as the legendary 300 cubic inch engine. This is one of the cheapest trucks to keep alive ever built because there is almost nothing on it that can fail in an expensive, catastrophic way. It uses a cast iron block, a cast iron head, and gear-driven timing. There is no timing chain to stretch and no belt to snap. It is a purely mechanical heartbeat. Maintenance costs stay low because the design doesn't fight you. If a starter goes out, it's sitting right there in the open. If a vacuum leak develops, you can trace it and fix it for under $50 in 30 minutes. Even major components like alternators and water pumps are widely available and priced like basic hardware, not specialized precision equipment. You're dealing with a drivetrain that Ford perfected over decades of industrial use. On today's market, you can still find clean examples between $4,000 and $9,000. It's a truck that respects your bank account, provided you keep the fluids fresh and the rust at bay. But if you want something with a V8 that's just as cheap to run and even easier to find parts for at any local hardware store, then the next truck takes that idea even further. Number 4 is the 1988 to 1998 Chevrolet CK 1500 with the 5.7-liter small block V8. This is where maintenance cost drops even further. Not necessarily because it breaks less than the Ford, but because everything on it is standardized globally. The 350 small block is the most supported engine architecture in history. You don't search for parts. You choose from a list of 10 different brands at any price point you want. Maintenance jobs on this truck are measured in hours, not days, because the engine bay is massive and the design is pure, old-school pushrod simplicity. There are no overhead cams, no complex hydraulic tensioners, and no plastic covers hiding the engineering. If you get an oil leak, it's a cheap, accessible gasket. If the cooling system acts up, the parts are robust and easy to bleed. Even a complete engine rebuild on a Chevy 350 is often cheaper than a simple turbo replacement on a modern SUV. Market prices today sit around $5,000 to $12,000. This is the kind of truck where nothing ever turns into a financial surprise. But cheap parts alone aren't the only way to save money, because the next truck almost eliminates the need for those parts in the first place through sheer engineering discipline. Number 3 is the 1985 to 1995 Toyota pickup, known globally as the Hilux, equipped with the 22RE engine. This is where maintenance becomes almost an afterthought. The 22RE is built so conservatively that it rarely ever reaches a physical limit under normal use. It's an engine that runs cool, revs low, and avoids internal stress entirely. That is exactly why these trucks regularly pass the 300,000-mile mark, with nothing more than basic oil changes as their primary diet. Beyond the engine, the truck is mechanically efficient because it's lightweight. Less mass means significantly less wear on your brakes, your tires, and your suspension bushings. While a heavy modern SUV eats through brake pads every 20,000 miles, the Toyota just keeps rolling. The only real maintenance item is the timing chain guides. They were plastic from the factory, but once you swap them for metal-backed versions, for about $200, you've effectively removed the engine's only mortal weakness. Clean models can be hard to find now, but they typically range between $7,000 and $15,000. You aren't just buying low maintenance, you're buying mechanical predictability. And once you've experienced that kind of predictability, the next step is moving into industrial-grade hardware. That skips the electronics entirely. Number 2 is the 1994 to 1998 Dodge Ram 2500 with the 12-valve, 5.9-liter Cummins diesel. Maintenance costs drop here for a different reason: raw material strength. This engine wasn't designed for a pickup truck. It was designed for tractors and generators. It is fully mechanical, meaning there are no injectors waiting for a computer signal to fire, no complex array of sensors determining your timing, and almost zero dependency on expensive diagnostic equipment. The Bosch P7100 injection pump is one of the most durable fuel systems ever engineered, and the engine's gear-driven timing means there are no high-wear items in the assembly. You aren't dealing with frequent nagging repairs. You're dealing with occasional heavy-duty maintenance that lasts for years. The only critical fix is securing the killer dowel pin for about $20, and from there, the truck is effectively immortal. Current market prices range from $10,000 to $25,000. And while the purchase price is higher, the cost per mile over 20 years is lower than almost anything else on the road. But even this level of brute strength has one limitation, and that's refinement. Because the number one truck on this list combines that durability with a build quality that redefined what forever means. Number 1 is the 1990 to 1997 Toyota Land Cruiser 80 series. This is the only truck on this list that was engineered from day one with the assumption that it would be serviced in remote deserts or mountain passes, where specialized tools don't exist. That philosophy changes how every bolt is placed and how every component is sized. The 4.5-liter 1FZFE inline 6 is a masterpiece of longevity, built with 7 main bearings and forged internals. Maintenance costs are low because the Land Cruiser doesn't suffer from cascading failures. On an SUV, a small leak often destroys a nearby sensor or an expensive electronic module. On an 80 series, everything is oversized and isolated. The cooling system is massive to handle extremes, and the drivetrain is borrowed from Toyota's commercial bus line. The only consistent maintenance item is the rubber heater hose at the back of the cylinder head. Replace it preventively, and the truck stays a fortress. Expect market prices between $15,000 and $35,000. It's a high entry price, but once you own it, it almost never asks you for money. It is the absolute peak of the buy once, drive forever mindset.